The 100 Dharmas. Composed by Vasubandhu Bodhisattva. Translated by Tripitaka Master Xuan Zang of the Tang Dynasty. English by City of 10,000 Buddhas. www.cttbusa.org. The second, Dharmas belonging to the mind, include, in general, 51. They are grouped into 6 categories: 5 universally interactive, 5 particular states, 11 wholesome, 6 fundamental afflictions, 20 derivative afflictions, and 4 unfixed. 1. The 5 universally interactive are 1. Attention, 2. Contact, 3. Feeling, 4. Thinking, and 5. Deliberation.
Commentary. Now we will discuss the second, Dharmas belonging to the mind. Dharmas belonging to the mind also belong to mind dharmas, but they are subjects of the mind, not the mind king. The mind king is the 8th consciousness. The mind king, at the time of direct perception, that is, perception through the nature, pervades the entire Dharma realm and has no wearisome defilements. It can stop all karmic retribution. But these dharmas belonging to the mind help the mind enact deeds of good and evil, creating good or evil karma. The mind king is like an emperor. Just as an emperor orders his ministers to carry out his commands, so, too, the mind king relies on the dharmas belonging to the mind in order to get things done. In this case, they include, in general, 51. They are also known as servants of the mind. Another name for them is enumerations of the mind. The mind has so many of these kinds of deliberations that they could never be counted, but there are 51 enumerations of the mind that are most important. These 51 dharmas belonging to the mind, are further grouped into 6 categories.
These 6 categories are like departments. The first one is the 5 universally interactive dharmas, which are called that because they pervade all places. They operate universally, and there are 5 specific dharmas listed in this division. 2 is the 5 particular states dharmas. They are independent. Whereas the universally interactive dharmas pervade all places, these particular states do not pervade at all. They are isolated. They are very special, solitary, and exclusive states. There are also 5 of these listed. 3 is the 11 wholesome dharmas. 11 specific ones are listed. 4. The 6 fundamental afflictions is the next division. We talk about having afflictions, but now we will learn more specifically just what types of afflictions there are, along with where they come from. The 6 fundamental afflictions are just 6 kinds of poison. Division 5 is the 20 derivative afflictions. The 6 kinds of afflictions just discussed are the basic ones, but there are also subsidiary afflictions, 20 in number. These 20 afflictions are further subdivided into minor, moderate, and strong afflictions. And 6, the last division is the 4 unfixed dharmas belonging to the mind.
Now we will begin discussing the first one, the 5 universally interactive. What are they? The text goes on to explain. 1. Attention. Attention is as when paying attention, putting one's mind's attention on something, or literally, making a mind. Attention is an attempt to grasp onto a state. Basically, the mind king does not enter into this act of attention by itself. But because of good and evil karma planted as seeds in the 8th consciousness from long-distant past kalpas to the present, the 8th consciousness becomes permeated by these habitual tendencies, just as smoke permeates food being cured, or incense permeates the atmosphere of the Buddha hall. When the permeation reaches a saturation point, movement arises within the 8th consciousness. That movement takes the form of attention. Therefore, attention marks the beginning of the mind giving rise to a state. The situation of a bodhisattva is such that he is omniscient without having to perform the act of attention. He can know good and evil, causes and effects without making an effort to do so. Arhats, however, do have to perform the act of attention. They must pay attention to see what is going on. Once they have gone through the process of attention, then they can know what something is all about. They can know the causes and results of any given situation that occurs.
For example, why did the 34 pigeons fly away? Basically, it is because when they were people they created certain kinds of karma. They did not work hard at their cultivation. They thought they would leave home, but they never did. They thought they would get around to cultivating, but they never did. They thought they would become vegetarians, but they never did. They thought they would recite the Buddha's name, but they never did. They never got around to doing what they were supposed to be doing. This does not apply just to pigeons. Some people who come to the Buddhist lecture hall never leave. Others come but do not stay. Still others intend to come but never make it in the door. You should not look upon these conditions as ordinary, nothing special, and take them for granted. They are, in fact, quite extraordinary. People without good roots simply cannot get themselves inside the door of the Buddhist lecture hall. If the people here did not have good roots, they would not be able to listen to sutra lectures. All those who are able to listen to sutra lectures have good roots.
However, even then, there are great good roots and small good roots. There are those with many good roots and those with few good roots. If you want to bring forth the resolve for Bodhi, you must listen to more and more Dharma lectures. When you come to understand a lot of Buddha Dharma, then very naturally, you will resolve your mind on Bodhi. That is what is meant by attention. Attention is universally interactive, and the second universally interactive Dharma is contact, which is also what the remaining three universally interactive Dharmas, feeling, thinking, and deliberation, rely upon. Once contact is established, feeling arises. Once feeling arises, there is thinking, and then there is deliberation. Therefore, contact provides the locus for feeling, thinking, and deliberation to base themselves upon. Contact is not something you should want. As soon as you have reached the state of contact, there will be feeling belonging to the mind, thinking belonging to the mind.